Boys and girls, so today, all right, I want us to think we've been writing our persuasive letters, right? And up to now, we've done a really good job of writing our opinion statements, right? Remember, what does a persuasive letter do? Like, really quick, what are we trying to do in a persuasive letter?
Oh, I know. Just an article that... I know. A letter that's convincing.
A letter that's convincing someone, right, good. A letter that's convincing, good. All right, so we've already wrote our opinion statements, and we have to come up with reasons. We have to come up with reasons. We were talking to support our opinion, right? And I want you to learn about what good reasons would be to support our opinion. And good reasons can really make your argument stronger, but some reasons are better than others. Bad reasons will not help you convince your reader, all right? So let me think. Let me think of a bad reason. All right, wait a minute. Let me see. If I was trying to, all right, as a student, if you were a student and you were trying to convince your teacher that you should have less homework, right? Let's see, what would be a reason? I could say,
a
bad reason.
I know.
What's a bad reason?
I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. Do you think that would convince your teacher that you should get less homework?
No.
I don't think so. I think that's called a weak reason, all right? So let's see, what would make a reason a good reason? How would you know if it was a good reason? I know, let's see. The way to know it's a good reason, it depends on your audience. So, that example we just had of trying to convince your teacher to have less homework. Who's your audience? If you were writing a letter to your teacher, writing a persuasive letter, right? Trying to convince your teacher, dear Mrs. Sikanowicz, you could say, right? I think we should have less homework, all right? Who's your audience in that letter? Who's the audience?
Teacher.
The teacher, right? Your teacher's the audience. So what you have to do is you have to come up with reasons and examples that the teacher would think is important. So what would a teacher think that was important that would convince her to give you less homework? What might a teacher think that was important that could convince her to give you less homework? That you had too much other homework to do?
Yeah.
Well, we want less homework. What do you think would be a good reason?
We'll get too much homework on our teaching.
What did you think? That you have too much chores to do at home?
Yeah.
Would that be important to the teacher? Maybe. Maybe that would convince her.
Maybe
Let's tell you what. Right now we're going to look at our example. Let's look at our example, right? Remember this persuasive letter we were working on, and it was we were trying to convince the principal to get a school garden in the school, right?
Yeah.
We were trying to get a school garden. So what would be important to the principal of a school? What do you think would be important to the principal of a school? What do you think would be important? What would be important to the principal of a school, Gabby? Well, okay. What else would be important to the principal of a school?
Wait, for what?
What would be important to the principal of a school?
Oh,
I have some ideas.
about homework?
No, just in general. What would be important to the principal of a school?
How the school is. Like, he might want the school. The principal wants the school to be the best it can.
He wants the school to be the best it can, so he probably cares about the school, and I think he probably cares about the students too, right?
Yeah.
Right? Our audience cares about the school and the students. So let's look at the reasons that they gave in our example, in our student example. It says, one reason for a school garden is kids could learn about plants. One reason is kids could learn about plants. Let's see. Now, would that be a reason that would be important to the principal? Would he think that was important?
Yeah.
Let's see. The kids could learn about plants. Well, do you think the principal thinks it's important for the kids to learn?
Yeah.
He does. So I think that would be a really good reason to put in my persuasive letter if I was trying to convince him to put a garden in. Let's see. Do we have another reason? Let's see. Also, here's another reason I know because it has also in front of it. Also, let's see. A school garden would help the school. Do you think the principal would like something that would help the school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So do you think this is another good reason that this person should be using in their persuasive letter to convince the principal, right, of their opinion? I agree too. So tell you what we're going to do. Mrs. S, I want us to work together, and we're going to try and come up with some good reasons to help convince our reader, all right, of what we want to happen. So, let's see. Oh, all right. We were working on this the other day. And this is our letter to Mr. Whalen, right? and we were saying, we were writing a letter, Dear Mr. Whalen, and I was actually writing this letter to Mr. Whalen. So who is my audience?
You.
Who is my audience? Dear Mr. Whalen. Who's my audience?
Mr. Whalen.
Mr. Whalen is the audience, right? So we have to keep him in mind when we're coming up with reasons, right? As a writer, we need to keep our audience in mind. It says, the students and I were discussing how long their lunch period is every day. Oh, well, I know what the topic is. What's the topic? What's the topic of this letter? Right away, I know what it is. What's the topic, Isaac?
Our students and I were discussing
What were we discussing?
how long the lunch period should be in the day.
So we were discussing how long our lunch period is, right? In my opinion, it says, I think it would be good for students to have a longer lunch. What's my opinion? What's my opinion in this? What's my opinion? What's my opinion?
I think it would be good
For
students to have longer lunch.
You're right, that's my opinion, and I know it's my opinion because what's in front of it? I think. So no, we need to come up with some good reasons, really good reasons, not weak ones, good reasons to support my opinion, right? So, what could we do as some good reasons? Let's see. Why would it be important to have a longer lunch? Why would it be important to have a longer lunch? Oh, I have a good reason. All right, let me think. And I think Mr. Whalen will agree with this. All right. A longer lunch will give the students more time to eat. Do you think that would be a good reason?
Yeah.
Do you think Mr. Whalen would agree with that?
They had to switch their lunch because they didn't get what they wanted.
Oh, so do you think it's important for you to have a little extra time to eat your lunch? Maybe, because I know you guys have to eat your lunch really quick sometimes, and
Even for lessons.
might even give you a bellyache, right? So you need a little bit longer lunch. What would be another reason? What would be another good reason? Matthew.
Kids always have to shove all their food in their mouth.
Yeah, that's true. That's why we want to have a little more time to eat. What else would be a good reason that would support, I think we should have the students should have a longer lunch? What would be a good reason? I came up with one. What do you think's another one? What do you think's another one, Helen?
Because if people come from lessons late and they don't have time to eat, they really need to shove their food in.
So maybe we could say the students, I like that, Helen, the students need more time for, I know you have instrument lessons, for their instrument lessons, right? Their instrument lessons.
I know another one.
Any other good reasons that Mr. Whalen might agree with?
I know.
Any other good reasons? What do you think?
Sometimes they have lunch changes and then it takes a while for them to pick what they want.
Okay, well, that's kind of having longer time to eat your lunch. We need longer time to eat our lunch, you're right. And the students need time for their instrument lessons. I have a really good reason, too, that I think he might agree with. Listen to my reason. I'm going to write it down and see if you think he would agree with this reason. The students also need a better break. A better break.
Oh.
You want to say for their minds? Okay.
For the brain.
I have another one.
For their brains to rest, right?
Yeah, I have another one.
I think we're good. I think I believe you, Matthew. But we're good. We only need a few. We only need a few, right? Put your hands down. Guys, all right, folks, what do you think? I think we came up with some really good reasons. What would be good about you having a better break for your brains to rest? So then what would you be able to do after lunch? Why would Mr. Whalen think this is okay? Why would he think this is okay?
Because so your brain can go refresh to the classroom.
And you can go back and do a lot of good work again, right? So listen to me now, boys and girls. We're going to go back to do our writing, all right? So today, when you're doing your writing, knowing now what you know about good reasons and bad reasons or weak reasons, I want you to make sure that some of the reasons that you've already written are really strong reasons that are going to convince your audience, right? As a writer, you have to convince your audience with really good, strong reasons. Some of you may have some that you're going to say, you know what, I think that's, sit down for a minute. I think that's a really good reason, and you can keep them, but go back and just make sure that your reasons are really strong and they're going to convince your audience. Thank you very much. Go write.